All right, let's get right into it with a question that might make you a little uncomfortable. Is our huge growing focus on mental health actually making us stronger? Or is it just giving us a brand new, very sophisticated way to dodge responsibility for our own actions?
So, this is the core of it, isn't it? The big question. Is all this therapy speak a genuine tool for healing? Or has it become the perfect shield we use to hide from our own flaws and our own mistakes?
And let's take it a step further. We all say self-awareness is a good thing, right? But where is the line? At what point does healthy, useful introspection turn into a kind of self-obsession that puts our feelings above literally everything and everyone else? And here's the one that really cuts deep, the one about accountability. We're told constantly, do the work on yourself. But it seems like for a lot of people, that work just ends with a long list of reasons why everyone else is the problem. So let's really break down the two sides of this debate. Okay, first up, let's hear from the prosecution. The argument is this. In our rush to understand where our pain comes from, we've conveniently forgotten the most important step, taking ownership of what we do. So the heart of the critique is this. We've medicalized normal life. A bad day isn't just a bad day anymore. No, it's a dysregulated nervous system. A totally fair piece of criticism isn't just feedback, it's gaslighting. Now, let's be super clear, these are real clinical terms and they have very real meanings. But the argument is that we've ripped this language out of the clinic and slapped it onto every single uncomfortable human interaction we have. And this, right here, this is where the critics say the real problem is. It used to be that feeling uncomfortable was seen as, a part of growing up. It was a signal that you needed to change something, to adapt, to get tougher. But the argument now is that discomfort has become a core part of who we are. It's not something to overcome, it's an identity, a label to wear, like a badge of honor.
Yeah, this statement is blunt. It's supposed to be. It's designed to challenge our first reaction to everything. It forces us to ask, what is trauma, really? Have we stretched that word so much that it now covers any experience that was less than perfect? Are we really suffering from trauma, or have we just lost the ability to sit with the normal, unavoidable pain that comes with being a human being?
Okay, so look, here's the critical point. Everybody agrees that step one is absolutely essential. You have to understand why you do the things you do. But the accusation is that our culture has become obsessed, totally stuck on step one, using it as a permanent hall pass to avoid ever getting to step two. Oh, I act this way because of my childhood, becomes the end of the story, not the beginning of the work. And this is how it all plays out in the real world, right? You're in the middle of an argument with your partner or a tough feedback session at work, and boom, one of these phrases gets dropped. Pause for a second. Think about it. The last time you heard one of these, was it used to open up a conversation or to shut one down? The argument is they've become weapons, conversation enders, a way to deflect all accountability and instantly grab the moral high ground. But wait, that's only one side of the coin. Now let's flip it over and look at the defense. The counter-argument here is powerful. Therapy isn't creating weakness. It's just shining a bright light on a fragility that we've been desperately trying to hide for generations. This is where the defense really challenges us to stop and think, what do we actually mean by strength? Was the so-called toughness of the past really strength? Or was it just emotional repression on a massive scale? This side argues that real strength isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about understanding them well enough to control them, to apologize when you're wrong, and to break those painful family cycles that we used to just call tradition. And all of this hinges on one key idea, emotional literacy. This isn't about finding excuses, it's about developing a skill. The ability to actually name what you're feeling and understand why you're feeling it. This side argues that that is the absolute bedrock of real accountability. I mean, without it, what is an apology? It's just empty words if you have no plan to change the behavior. And here's the question that turns the entire debate right back on the critics. This perspective says that the truly weak path is to just stumble through life on autopilot, hurting people, making messes, and never once having the guts to ask yourself why. From this angle, looking inward isn't weakness, it's an act of an incredible courage.
So the fundamental point on this side is pretty hard to argue with. You can't fix a car engine if you don't know how it works, and you can't fix your own destructive behaviors if you don't understand where they come from. So from this viewpoint, self-awareness isn't the opposite of accountability, it is the only road that leads to it.
Okay, so we have two powerful, completely opposite arguments. Now let's smash them together and see what happens. This is where it gets really interesting.
The first side fires right back. Okay, fine. Awareness is good. We get it. But where's the off-ramp? At what point does looking inward just become a self-indulgent obsession that makes you the main character in everyone else's story? But the other side counters immediately. Oh, really? And what's the alternative? At what point does your precious toughness just become a socially acceptable excuse for being emotionally immature, unable to manage your own anger, or show a shred of empathy?
And then the conflict zooms out. It gets bigger. By validating every single feeling and diagnosing every bit of discomfort our kids have, are we accidentally creating a generation of adults who are just too fragile to handle the real world?
But the retort is just as fierce. Is the alternative any better? Are we just trying to raise another generation of emotionally suppressed adults who repeat the exact same cycles of quiet desperation and collateral damage that their parents and grandparents did?
So, where does all this leave us? You see, the point of this whole thing isn't to wrap it all up in a neat little bow for you. The point is to hand the final uncomfortable decision over to you.
So let's make it personal. For just a second, be brutally honest with yourself. Have you ever, even once, used the language of therapy, your trauma, your triggers, your boundaries, not as a tool to heal, but as a shield, as protection from criticism you didn't want to hear? And that's the question we're leaving you with. Does this entire movement ultimately build more resilient, truly accountable people? Or does it just give weaker people a much better vocabulary to excuse their bad behavior? The answer isn't here in this explainer. It's in the choices we all make tomorrow.